Good afternoon, viewers. This is With God Educational Consults, and we are your assistants in science subjects, especially physics and chemistry. Today, we shall be looking at physics, and the topic for today is projectile motion. What is a projectile? A projectile is any body that moves in a curve or parabolic path when thrown or projected. It moves in a curved path under the influence of acceleration to gravity. Is only under the influence of the force of gravity. That is the only force. It's assumed that the only force acting on the projectile is the force of gravity. So as it moves, it performs two separate independent motion. It moves horizontally and also moves vertically. As it's going up, it moves vertically with velocity Vy, move horizontally with velocity Vs. At the maximum height, it no longer moves up, so the velocity Vy becomes zero, while it continues with this Vs, which remains the same throughout the motion. So if we are to look at the initial velocity of this projectile, let's start with the initial velocity of this projectile. If a projectile is projected with a velocity u, then we can resolve the velocity into its vertical component and its horizontal components. And from your trigonometry, from this triangle now, you can see that uy is equal to u sin theta and us is equal to u cos theta. So in that case, if you now write, we cannot write an expression for its velocity at any point when it has reached point A. We can write its expression for the velocity of the projectile at point A. From our equation of motion, you were taught that v is equal to u plus at. So using the vertical motion, we cannot say vy is equal to uy plus at. Now, the ay, the vertical component, is due to the force of gravity. Ay, acceleration, is equal to minus g, because it's going up, it's only moving, it's going up and moving against gravity. So the vertical acceleration ay is minus g against the force of gravity. Now, if you insert that acceleration into this equation of motion, we now have vy equal to uy minus gt, not plus this time, minus gt. Then in that case, you cannot say that at maximum height vy is equal to 0. Then you cannot say 0 is equal to u sin theta minus gt. And if you now move to that side, you can see that u sin theta is equal to gt and t is equal to u sin theta over g, where this time represents the time for the projectile to reach maximum height, to reach point B, which is the maximum height, the time for the projectile to reach maximum height. Now, we can also, in that case, we can write an expression for the time of flight. The time of flight, total time of flight, t, is going to be equal to twice of the time to reach maximum height. So in that case, we cannot say the time of flight will not be 2u sin theta over g, which represents the time of the projectile to reach the time to complete the flight, total time of flight. So we can also write an expression for the maximum height reached. The vertical maximum height, let's call it h, which is the maximum height reached for a projectile. Maximum height reached of projectile. Now remember our equation of motion. Our equation which says that v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Now insert it in this vertical motion. Now at maximum height, our vy is equal to 0. Then we cannot say 0 square is equal to our u. If you have said our u is u sin theta all square minus 2gs. So if you look at this now, you cannot see that. Bring to the other side, now say u square sin square theta is equal to 2gs. In that case, so our s now will represent s, which is equal to u square sin square theta over 2g, where s is equal to h, the maximum height attained, where h is the maximum height. So with this video, I believe you can understand how we obtain the maximum height of a projectile, how we also obtain the time of projectile to reach the maximum height, and also how we obtain the time of flight of a projectile. Thank you till we meet again. May God keep us.